tell people about wealth building?
Well, I basically explain there are three things to do with money and one thing you should not do with money.
Okay.
Okay, which is a basic premise. The first thing I teach is that money is not meant to be spent.
I heard that.
Money is not meant to be spent. I repeat it 3 times. Money is not meant to be spent. And the purpose of that statement is twofold. One is to get a person to ask, money is not meant to be spent, then what is it for? That's where we need to be. We need to be at the position where we ask, what is money for? Because we don't ask that. We just are automatically programmed, pre-programmed, that when we get money, we're going to spend it.
Right.
We don't ask any questions. Whoever asks, well, what is money for?
Right.
We don't ask that question. We think we already know because we've been programmed already.
Right.
And the other reason why I say money is not meant to be spent in a negative form is because that is meant to be the statement to help deprogram us from the spending mentality, from the consumer mentality, because we've already been programmed by the educational system, by the government, by the entertainment industry, by music, by video games. All these things, our friends, family have all programmed us to get money so we can spend it.
Right.
We can buy some shiny object,
Right.
basically. You know what I'm saying? So we can enjoy. We want to enjoy it. So my first approach is to bring a statement that is contradictory, almost sounds contradictory. Money is not meant to be spent, because it's an illogical statement, because of course you have to spend money, you know, of course. But to think money is not meant to be spent, that brings a pause. Then there are 3 things that I say we should do with money. And I even ask people, name 3 things you should do with money. Very few people can name all 3. But the 3 things that I suggest that you should do with money is 1, save. 2, invest. 3, start a business. Okay? And I even teach these principles, which, because they're so fundamental and so simple, I've taught them to students as young as 7 years old, and they remember it. I say, what are 3 things you should do with money? And they're very, very happy to say, oh, I know. Save, invest, start a business.
Right.
So even though they may be too young to execute the principle, but by having that programming there, eventually it kicks in. It's like, okay, I got money. What do I do with money? Okay, am I saving any? Am I investing any? Am I starting any type of business of my own? So those are 3 basic fundamental principles for building wealth, period. If those things are not there, there's no question of building wealth. There's just working for money. That's the only thing you have left.
Trading time for money.
Exactly. So I'm working for money and paying bills, and working for money and paying bills and enjoying a little bit and paying some more bills and paying some taxes, and then going back to get some more money, because the bills are going to be due again next month. It's not like they're going to go away.
Right.
As a matter of fact, they're probably going to increase due to inflation. Okay. So my dollar that I'm working for while I'm working is losing value.
Wow.
Literally.
At the same time.
So I'm working for something that is shrinking. As I work harder, it loses more value. So that means I got to work harder, right? I mean, so at what point do I, just collapse or, have a stroke or a heart attack trying to attain this ever shrinking currency to solve my problem? And what's my problem? Bills, taxes, inflation, and some enjoyment. I'm trying to enjoy because that's what we think. That's what we're programmed that money is supposed to do.
Right.
Is to enjoy. So in my pursuit for enjoyment, I'm probably going to wind up going into debt.
Wow. Right?
Because I'm not making enough to pay all my bills, so, Hey, I'm going to need a little bit of credit here. You know what I'm saying? So I can like get a few things done, and so I could take a vacation, and so I can, drive a nice car. Who wants to drive a hoopty? I want to look good. I got to get everything done. And it's males too, but females, they got the hair, they got the nails, and these things are expensive and regular. It's not like they can get it done once and it's over.
Right.
No. So these are revolving bills and financial responsibilities. So if I don't have a plan to resolve this and to create a circumstance or a situation whereby I have revenue, passive revenue coming in to take care of my expenses, it's going to be trouble.
So, relate me to the T-Pain now that you said that.
Yes, I mean, T-Pain is an example, a very bright example of a person who accumulated and who learned one aspect of, I guess you could say, one aspect of financial literacy, which is how to make money.
Okay.
T-Pain figured that out. The man figured out how to make $40 million. I mean, how many of us have figured that out yet? Okay, the man had the talent, ability, the contacts, the network, the association, the qualification, everything, the competence to produce $40 million. But he lacked one very important thing, which I think is where financial literacy really begins, is that he didn't know what to do with money.
Right.
So many of us, figure out how to make money. But I think our greatest lack, oversight, is we don't know what to do with it once we get it. Once we capture it, we don't know what to do with it. And that's where the failure comes in.
Is that like we talked about at the meeting, a.k.a. preserve your wealth?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I understand.
Absolutely. So that key there, knowing what to do with money, I think that financial literacy, that financial intelligence is necessary for everyone, whether we have a job or if we got a small business or if we're running a huge international business or we're an investor. We need to know what to do with money. To me, that seems to be like the missing link. That's the danger. That's the missing link. What to do with it. However much I have, whether, I have a job and I make a minimum wage, you still need to know what to do with your money.
Right.
So that financial literacy is valuable information for any and everyone. You don't have to be in business, because I find that another fallacy and another flaw is people think, well, I have a job, and I just pay my bills and all that. I don't need to know nothing about finances. I just got a job. That's for people with businesses. That's a fallacy. It's not true. You're still working for money.
Right.
You need to understand money. You need to understand what to do with money, else you are going to simply work for money forever.
Let me ask you a question. I don't mean to cut you off, because you definitely
Sure.
going somewhere. How do you feel about trading time for money? Like when you, because you're a tax man. You're the number one dude that see everybody's taxes. How do you feel about people trading time for money? What would you say to that?
Well, I think trading time for money is a very dangerous position to be in. And you need, and even though we may need to trade time for money initially, we need to figure out how to get out of that cycle, because that's an endless cycle. Time for money. And we will never be paid what we're actually worth. Okay.
Right.
So trading time for money should only be a temporary thing. I think a job, even a good job, like a good job where you're making a lot of money and you got a lot of benefits, I think even that should only be seen as a stepping stone to attaining some degree of financial independence.
Right.
Trading time for money is not going to reward you with financial independence. It's just going to sustain your lifestyle wherever you are. But what about when you can't produce physically? What if you get sick? What if you lose your job? You lose your good job and those good benefits.
SOL.
You know what I'm saying? And that can happen. And with the nature of our economy right now, that can happen anywhere to anybody at any time. Even CEOs of companies lose their jobs. So to speak of anybody else in the company, if the CEO can lose their job,
right,
how secure is my position?
right.
So I say, whatever position we may be in, if we're in, we have a very good job or we have a very fundamental, basic job that's just hard, we need to be making an optimate or making another plan, an alternate plan as to how we are going to attain some degree of financial independence.
Wow.
Otherwise, we're on a treadmill and we're not going to be able to get off.
We running in circles trying to figure it out.
Exactly. Hey, that's my partner calling me on the other line.
Okay.
I mean,
We'll talk
okay.
soon. Call me back.
All right, sir. Gotcha.
Thanks, buddy.